Hello, everyone. Welcome to Green Book TV. I know it has been a hot minute since we have done one of these. I'm Hillary Van Dyke, Executive Director of the Green Book of Tampa Bay. And with me, I have some amazing authors of children's books. And so we're just going to get rolling because obviously you're not here for me, you're here for them. So please tell us, who are you?
Hi, I'm Davon Miller. I'm the author and illustrator of the Mr. Tickety Talk Clock children's book series.
Hey everyone, my name is Jasmine Paul. I'm the author of A Boy, a Budget, and a Dream and the Wealth Playground series.
Hi everyone, I am the author of Beautiful Black Boy and Beauty is in Every Name.
Hi everyone, my name is Lola Morgan. I am the proud author of The Butterfly and the Bully, and this is Me Interactive Coloring Book.
And she couldn't be here with us tonight, so we are going to also hear virtually from our next author. So let me go ahead and share my screen, make sure I'm sharing my sound, because that's important too. Let's hear from our last author.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tameka Harris. I am president and CEO of Always Truth Incorporated, which is dedicated to teaching, reaching, and uplifting to help inspire people of all ages. So I am an educator first and motivational speaker, poet, author, and educational rap artist.
Oh, wait, awesome. I started talking with the mute on. So we're going to jump in to our first question. Well, I guess that was the first question. Our second question, which is, what is the title of your book and what is it about?
So the title of my book is A Boy, a Budget, and a Dream. It is about financial literacy and empowering youth between the ages of 4 to 8 to learn how to budget, to learn how to dream big, and ultimately to get their money right. And so I wrote this book because I wanted children and parents to talk about money at home.
All right. I like it. Lakeila, what about you?
Yes, I wrote Beautiful Black Boy. It actually stemmed from a lot of things that was going on at the time with George Floyd. It was the curiosity of my 3 sons. They had a lot of questions for me when it came to injustice with Black people and just systematic racism. So that definitely inspired me to write my first publishing, the first book. Honestly, it was shocking for me to see what they were thinking. And I just wanted to make sure that they knew that they actually had a voice, and that voice came through me at the time. And that's how my first book was published. And the second book it was just something, a continuance of that, and just making sure that they identify with a purpose and they have confidence to make sure that they have a future, and they definitely, their hopes and dreams are just as important. It shouldn't matter what color you are and who you are, and everyone just needs to be kind, and there's hope for the future.
Yes, thank you. I feel like we've been snapping on that one. All right. And Lola, what about you?
Well, my book, The Butterfly and the Bully, it teaches children how to develop healthier coping mechanisms. So ultimately, it is a trauma-informed tool. It talks very softly about death, how to transition through any type of unresolved emotions from a child's perspective, teaching them empathy, emotional intelligence, a lot of different social and emotional learning skills. And I think that it's really important for children, for us to be able to give them the opportunity to have self-assessments. As adults, we do that a lot. We journal, we learn all these therapeutic ways of just relieving all the stress or some of the things that we carry. And so from a child's perspective, how do they do that? How do they feel safe in those environments where they can honor their voice, find ways to have confidence, where they're reaffirming themselves? There's a lot of positive reinforcements inside of the book. But outside of it just being a picture book, it's a necessary tool where they can fully implement what they're learning with exercises in the back of the book. What prompted me to write the second is that, well, not really write, I guess I would say illustrate or direct because it's a coloring book, but just looking at the feedback that I was getting, I wanted something else that would be healthy for the child to sit down in the home or in other environments to be able to do and just get creative. It still has affirmations in the back of that book and a certificate of completion, but whatever work I produce is always going to be something that they can basically walk forth in life with as well.
Ooh. Okay. First of all, every time I do one of these, I'm like, this is my favorite one. This one's already inching into the top of my favorite. All right. So next we're going to hear from Tameka. Again, I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second.
Of my books, my first book is Inspiration from A to Z, which was published last year. It is a colorful character education book for children. Each letter of the alphabet has powerful phrases that instill life lessons. Just to give you a little sample of the book. And then the next book that I published after that was Destined for Greatness. So if you see, it's the same characters. I really wrote this book. I was just writing words to my children, letting them know that they're destined for greatness. And I end up turning it into a book. And so it says, take a journey with Will and Tashelle as they explain to their children all the great qualities they have that prove they are destined for greatness. And then finally, this year, June 20th, 2021, I put out the Inspiration from A to Z journal. So I feel like this can apply to people of all ages. It has the quotes from the book, Inspiration from A to Z. And then we have some goal setting. So if you want your child or your students to believe in themselves, they set a goal and then they say what they're going to do in order to reach the goal. And then they say, I reached my goal on this date, and then they celebrate their accomplishments.
All right, all right. I don't know why my screen wasn't letting me make that big. Last but definitely not least, Davon, what about you?
Yeah, so the books I've written and illustrated are all in the series titled Mr. Tickety Talk Clock. I published my first one when I was age 11 back in middle school. And pretty much the books are all about this red twin bell clock, as you can see right here, who just loves to read and tell time in his big block blue shoes.
All right, I like that. I like that humble brag too, like published when I was, I'm very jealous mostly. All right, so my next question, I'm just getting my life in order. I'm gonna drop the order in the chat, so please don't judge the fact that the numbers are all messed up. So I think the knowing who you are is important, knowing the titles of your book and what they are about is important. But I want to know why you all feel the book that you have published is important. So go ahead, tell us. Starting with Lakeila, go ahead.
Yes, hi. I think that it definitely is important. It's a conversation starter. If anything, I think that it's really important to have these conversations at home in our culture with any children, just making sure that children know that they are not alone out here, and that, you know, it's important for them to make sure that they're having not only conversations within each other, but making sure that they reach out and have those conversations with their parents, because that's who stands behind them. So I definitely think it's a conversation starter, if anything.
Awesome. I believe that my book is necessary because in our community, mental health Right now, a lot of people are talking more about it, which is great. And just going forth and teaching people and teaching children that, to think of mental health as just a management of the mind. So to be able to give your child or, your young loved one at such a young age and give them the capacity to learn the things that we're able to, what it looks like to really heal from the inside, instead of always working on the exterior, we're always taught that. And so I think that it's so important for them to know what it's like to hone their voice, to love themselves, to look at their neighbors and understand, dang, I really see that you're going through something. And I have like this empathy or this sympathy for you. And to just really be able to walk forth in life and find out how to be the best version of themselves without having to wait until they're in their 30s or 40s or just later in life, and just learning how to connect with the world on a different and spiritual level.
Okay. Oh, sorry. The next one is going to be Miss Tameka. All right, let me share my screen, and I don't think it's gonna be full screen again, but we'll see what happens. What screen am I sharing? None of this is gonna be edited either, so it's gonna be great stuff. All right, here we go.
Okay, these books are important because with my business, Always Truth Incorporated, the main focus of it is to build confidence and character. Without confidence and character, you can't go far. Like confidence helps push you to higher heights. And then of course you need character, good character traits as well. And so the book, Inspiration from A to Z, is important just for that reason, because it helps build character traits. And not only that, but the little ones, look, they can learn the letters of the alphabet as well as they're reading, because it goes from A to Z. And then Destined for Greatness, I thought this was important because first of all, on the first page of the book, you see a family sitting together, the entire family with mom, dad, and their children. And the dad is speaking and saying, I hope you see yourself the way we see you. So you don't see that often. And then just speaking positive words into their children's life. And positive affirmations are so important because with all of my products that I have, like I'm an excellent writer, CD, if you speak it, whatever you speak, whether it's negative or positive every day, you will believe it. So why not speak positive things in your life and say that you are destined for greatness? And then the same thing with this journal. It's about goal setting. We know in life as young kids, it's good just to start with goal setting. That's something that we have to do as adults as well. And so this is something that they can do in the classrooms or just with their children, goal setting with different character traits, because all of us have things that we need to work on. We have to continuously grow in life. And so why not get this Inspiration from A to Z journal and start setting character goals?
I like that. I like that. All right, Davon, what about you?
Yeah, well, not only do the Mr. Tickety Talk Clock books encourage reading and literacy, but there's also this important aspect in helping spark a child's creativity. As there's this relatability aspect that all the illustrations within the books are colored with crayon and with colored pencil. And that's pretty much how kids illustrate and color and draw with today. And I think it says that kids can write stories themselves. And as well, Mr. Tickety Talk Clock also shows and reinforces that within the latest book, Mr. Tickety Talk Clock and the Magic Library. So there's definitely that relatability aspect for kids to gravitate towards.
All right. And finally, Jasmine, what about you?
So I originally wrote this story because of my experience in college. So many of us who have gone to college, unless you were like a trust fund baby or you're on scholarship, you were probably broke like myself. And so I remember for 2 months, because I didn't have my finances in order, I ended up sleeping in my car and I ended up sleeping on friends' couches. And it was crazy. And I was like, man, when I graduate college, I will not be that person. Like, I have to figure out my money. And so once I graduated college, I started learning more about financial management, personal finances, budgeting, investing, paying off my debt. And so I was able to pay off my student loans by the age of 24, bought my first property at 23. And I was like, it's important that kids get this information. And so often parents, they don't know how to teach their kids about money because they themselves don't know about money. And so I wrote A Boy, a Budget, and a Dream and the Wealth Playground series because I want little kids to grab this book and be like, wow, I can dream big. I can budget my money. I can prioritize my goals, and I can still save for the future. And so I just want kids and parents to know that it's okay that you don't understand money at this moment, but you still can learn and you still can teach your children. So that's why I wrote the book.
Whew. All right, this question is not on the thing because as I'm listening to you all, I just have to know, like, at what point were you like, you know what, I'm just gonna write a book and I'm gonna publish it? Like, how? Who does that? How? We're just free flowing now. I just need to know.
Well, for me, back in 2019, I was actually approached by Tameka Harris. She has her business. She was basically looking for like a couple of people to be a part of a beta group before she started her publishing company, which is First Book Club Publishing Company. I think that's right. And so I'm sitting down and I'm trying to figure out, okay, well, what am I going to write about? And I remember I was still kind of dealing with the like grieving of my brother who passed away in 2016. So I wanted to make sure that I wrote a story that would still honor his name, give something back to our family. But that's kind of selfish, you know? So what are you going to do in regards to giving back to the world? And so it was a combined effect of honoring my brother, giving something back to our family, giving something that's tangible to children that they can actively use while still kind of honoring my story as well. So, you know, the butterfly and the bully in the story basically loses her father. And so for me, it's just a lot of different components. I was bullied as a child, didn't grow up with a lot of self-confidence, and just really had to figure out how to hone who I was. And I thought that the positive reinforcements, the affirmations inside of the book are so important. And, you know, I go forth now and I tell people affirmations are what has kept me throughout life, just making sure that you always know who you are, that you always remember who you are before someone else can tell you. So in a nutshell, that's the birth of The Butterfly and the Bully.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, who else? Like how? Why? Were you just like, you know what, I'm gonna publish a book and it's fine. I'm gonna do that.
I'll go.
Tell me more. Go ahead.
So I published a nonfiction book back in the beginning of 2020. And honestly, this story was kind of dropped in my spirit. And I was like, God, I don't really know how to write a children's book. Like, what do I do about illustrations? And honestly, I think the pandemic really thrusted this story forward because I saw my family, my little sister, she's about 12 years younger than me, and we're actually having conversations about money and investing. And I noticed other families were doing the same. They were having conversations at home with their kids because, you know, their kids are at home, the parents were teleworking. And so I was like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if kids can start talking about money now instead of waiting till they're 18 when they got their first credit card or when they have to sign or co-sign for a car or co-sign for a student loan? With what if they can start having the conversation now? And so honestly, it started through a DM. I had already wrote the story and I DM'd New York Times bestselling author Peter H. Reynolds. He has like titles like The Word Collector, and I mean, if you go to your local library, he's in there. And I DM'd him, and the man DM'd me back like the next day, like, oh, this is what you do. And so it was just awesome just putting the story forward and the support of other authors, just dope. Like the authors are like really cool. I know I'm biased because I'm one, but like children's book authors, like they really hold you down and support you. And so, yeah, it really started through a DM, and it's kind of been nonstop ever since.
I would agree about the dopeness, but I'm biased. Anyone else before we keep moving? What about you all?
I'll go. I actually had a moment. One, I was being a teacher at home with my kids when we were shut down. So it was really interesting. With my three sons, we were having a conversation. You know, I was teaching them about, you know, Ruby Bridges and things like that. They were asking me a million questions. And then, of course, seeing all the things going on TV at the time with the protests. And then we're sitting here watching a champs catch fire and all this stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what, you know, how can we be a part of a positive change? And that's kind of just what sparked it for me. I just started Googling everything in the world on basically where do I start? So I just went from there and just reached out to someone who I actually knew that wrote a book. And it was one of my cousins that actually lived in another state. And she was like, I'll help you. And together we accomplished my first one.
Nice. I love it. And last but not least, Davon, what is your answer to this random question I just threw at you?
For me, I always credit it to my mother. My mom would always read to me before I was even born. My mom would read to me while I was in her womb. And just from there, I always just came out loving to read and write. When I was like, I think around like preschool or kindergarten or so, I started like just tearing out pages out of notebooks and just started writing and drawing whatever I saw. You know, I always got inspired by like my favorite television characters. And from there, it just kept growing and growing. I was like at the point in third grade where I was writing like these 100-page novels of like stories that I've just imagined and creative, you know, always ripping it out, writing it with pen, coloring with crayon. And it wasn't until someone said, you know, with all these stories that you're writing, you know, you should really think about getting them published. And from there, that's, you know, that's when we seeked out to actually publish one of the books that I wrote.
Love it. All right. So my next question for y'all, back to the program. All right. The next question is, what have been some benefits that have already come out of publishing a book? And Lola, we'll start with you.
For me, it's been teaching. I don't know. I think when I was younger, I always said that that's something that I wanted to do. So to be able to educate people in this way, to get, you know, move forth and become a life coach. Like I never thought that, you know, that would be a road for me, but having the innate ability to be able to see things a little bit further than most, and have the patience to be able to work with people and want to see them, you know, reach their highest potential. It's just crazy how life changes. And sometimes when you birth something, you never know what could come of it. You know, like I said before, when I wrote this book, I just did it. I wanted to be able to honor something in our family, and it just, the capacity of it is so much more. So I'm just grateful for the healing journey of where this book has taken me, and will continue to take me.
I definitely agree with that idea that you start something not really knowing where it's going to go. And, you know, we have this Black-owned business directory, we have the social media for it, but like the way that these folks have inspired me to be brave enough to go and try entrepreneurial stuff has been really interesting, because I definitely was like, you know what, work this job till I die, and then that's what I'm gonna do. And it's just been really interesting how over the last, I think we're going on to like 3 years now, how it's shifted. Wow. Just working with and meeting all these like super brave, amazing business owners. And speaking of which, let me share my screen and we will hear from the next person.
some of the benefits that came out of publishing this book. Number one, I'm so excited that my husband told me to create a platform with my book, Inspiration from A to Z. And what that platform was, I had shows on Facebook that were entitled Inspiration from A to Z, 15-minute moments. This platform allowed me to connect with people that I would have never connected with. And then from those different connections, just from interviewing different people, meeting different people, and then I end up supporting different people, and we supported each other. And I started a group, Women of Influence, where we unite. The vision is to unite, empower, and positively impact the community. A lot of those people I met by having them on my show. And so it's about networking and making connections. And also the book has also enabled me to have a lot of author talks and different programs as well. And then I am also animating my book, Inspiration from A to Z. And so that will be available on my YouTube channel, Always Truth Incorporated, so that students can have access to it for free and be inspired on a daily basis within the classroom or at home.
I definitely agree with that too. Like just the people that I've gotten to meet. All right, Davon, take it away.
One of the benefits for me is, getting to partner with different organizations that help and better our community. I remember one of the first partnerships I did was with the restaurant Chili's, in which we did Good Eats for a Good Cause to raise money for Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital in benefit of asthma, because I was diagnosed with asthma at a very young age. And another organization I partnered with was the Tampa Bay Rays community team, in which I got to take part in the Reading with the Rays program, where I would do virtual read-alongs. And what was even cool about that one was with that partnership is that a few of my books are now on display at Tropicana Field. And the other cool benefit is, getting to meet and shake hands with a lot of well-known individuals who have made an impact on our community and even our culture. Meeting Magic Johnson, former Governor Charlie Crist, and even Gilbert Gottfried. At one point, we were doing like an interview one time at a morning show. So those are just really cool experiences.
Yes. Jasmine, what about you?
It's been really, really cool. Like everyone has said, I feel like you just don't know what you're doing until it's out there in the world. So recently, we've had some really cool partnerships as well. Taco Bell, the foundation, reached out to me to do financial literacy for their scholarship recipients. And so that was like dope. Like they literally like slid in the DMs. It goes down in DMs. Like when it comes to partnerships, for real, open your DMs because people are there and wanting to talk to you. But been able to, my book was named one of the top 10 best books to teach kids about money on Yahoo and parents.com. And then while I was in Florida, in Tampa, I partnered with over 30 barbershops to donate the book. So each barbershop got about 5 to 10 books, depending on what the sponsorship package was. And so we've been able to donate over 250 books in low and impoverished communities. So kids can go get a haircut, and then they can also get my book to take home with them. And I think the biggest goal that I have is that the kids that have read the book have saved collectively, from the parents that have told me, saved collectively $5,000 towards their savings goals. And so I'm like, if children between the ages of 4 to 11 can do it, y'all, we can do it. Adults can do this thing. So I'm just excited. I feel like the sky is the limit. When you put something out there and you really believe in your product, you really believe in your story, and people see that, like people just want to support you. So it's been awesome.
Yes. All right. Last but not least, Lakeila, what about you? Benefits of publishing.
I would have to agree with many of you when you say the people for sure. One of the biggest, amounts of gratitude that I can have is when someone comes and speaks to you about your work and they can even just walk off with that aha moment. And that sometimes it's everything. I've had, individuals, really break down in front of me and share their experiences. So definitely the people, I would say for sure, has been the biggest benefit, and working with, our, small generation, and just, hearing the things that, they go through, and that, just helping them build character and knowing that they have the confidence to do what they have to do. And, even just, for them to just be an advocate of their own. So that's one of the biggest benefits that I can see that I have.
Nice. All right, so not my last question. My next question, maybe for some of you, is the same as this question you just answered, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So what's been your favorite thing that you have done so far? And we're going to start with Miss Harris.
Favorite thing thus far, really, with the books is the animation of the books, and also me creating music videos that help inspire kids. With the production of the books, it's helped me to expand my creative platform. And I'm really excited about where my YouTube channel is going, because now I'm going to have tips for parents and teachers to help their child be successful in school. And then, like I say, the book animations, and then there's more educational rap videos to come. So you have to follow, like, and subscribe on Always Truth Incorporated's YouTube page, so you can constantly be updated about the full resources that we have.
Nice. All right. Davon, what about you?
I think one of my favorite things that I've done so far are definitely the school and community center visits. I love having the chance to read my books in front of an audience and inspiring kids to read. And I remember this one time I asked a class, all right, does anyone here like to read? And this one kid is like, not me. And I'm like, well, you don't like to read? Really? He's like, no, not really. And, as I read one of my books, and as soon as I got done, I asked the same question again. And the same kid responded, he's like, reading is actually not that bad. It's actually pretty enjoyable. And, another aspect is, doing the public appearances, is that everywhere Mr. Tickety Talk Clock goes, is he'll shake hands with the adults, and with the kids, it's high fives. And I remember this one preschool I went to, after I was done reading, all the kids were heading back to their class, and they all lined up to give Mr. Tickety Talk Clock a high five, and even some wanted just to take him home. So I think just to see kids longing to stay and have fun with this character is pretty cool.
Yes, I like it. That's adorable. Jasmine, what about you?
Oh, there's so many moments. I think favorite. So I do different vendor events throughout the city. And I think kids running up to, like, I have Cass in the background and then Joey's kind of folded up over there, but just seeing kids like run up to the characters, like it's Mickey Mouse or, any character that you can think about, like to me, that's so cool. To see this character that I created, and I really wanted to show diversity and the importance of diversity. And so to see kids like run up and like, oh, they're looking at it, they like, mommy, I want to buy the book, like I want to see what's in it. I think it's such a joy that the reception from kids, like they are just so open and honest, and it's really cool that at this age you can still kind of go after your dreams, and people are like excited about it. So I think that's probably the favorite part, is just kids just coming up and just asking like, oh my gosh, you're an author, what, like that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, I'm an author, that's crazy. So like it's really cool. And so I hope it reflects the importance of going after your dreams. And it might not look like everyone else's journey, but I think it's important to go after your dreams as hard as possible as you can, despite all of the challenges and tribulations that happens and occurs, because it'll happen.
Lakeila, what about you?
I can say one of my favorite things is being a part of this journey with my children, you know, my family being on this journey with me. You know, my children are the ones that inspire me. So just to have them on this journey and to be that role model for them and letting them know that, you know, anything is possible. So that's one of my favorite things. And of course, just doing like public appearances and the book tours and seeing like the kids walk past with their parent and they tug on the parent and say, hey, can we go over there? And then once they come over, just get, you know, talking to them and the parent and just kind of, like I said, just having that aha moment and sharing our experiences together and things like that. So that's been pretty much my favorite part of this journey.
And Lola, what about you?
My favorite part is a compilation of what everyone has shared, you know, definitely sharing this experience with my family. When I hear a child say that they really grasp the book, like it almost still brings tears to my eyes. I don't know, it just like it feels really good. It feels really good to know that they understand and that they can pinpoint, you know, that hope is there, that they have the capability to move forth and do what, you know, do what they need to do. And so it's a very gratifying feeling. And then I love when I'm out at different events and people walk past the banner and they see like the little catch line that says, this book teaches children how to develop healthier coping mechanisms, and the fact that they're in awe about that. So it lets me know that I'm doing something good, that it's important, it deserves to be nurtured, and it's a feel good moment.
All right. So hearing from all of you has been amazing. But what is really important, I mean, all of this is important, but what we really need is for people to know how they can find you and how they can support you. So that's my last question for you. How do we find you? How do we support you? And we'll start with Davon.
Well, first off, just thank you so much for having me on, and just a pleasure to meet so many authors here tonight. One of the ways you can support me is you can get the Mr. Tickety Talk Clock books on Amazon.com or any other online retailer that might sell books. And of course, you can follow me and find me on Facebook and Instagram at author Davon Miller, and also check out my website, davonmiller.wix.com/author.
All right. And Jasmine, what about you?
Again, yes, thank you so much for opening this space and sharing this space. So exciting to always talk about the book. And like you said, Davon, meet other authors that are killing it in their respective niches. I'm so excited for all of you. The ways that you can support me is, again, you can head over to createfinstew.com and you can learn more about my services, what I offer, buy the book for your kiddos or your grandkids for the holidays. But ultimately, like I really want millennials, I really want Gen Z, I really want boomers. I want us all to do better with finances. So if you have a question, you can definitely drop me a DM. I answer all of them, or someone else will answer them, but we will answer them in a timely manner. You can go to Jasmine Like Paul, that's Jasmine, like LikePaul, and you can drop a DM and we can connect, because I know how challenging it is for money. And I just really want people to have healthy money conversations at home. That is my mission. That is my goal. And so if you have a question, there is no question that I haven't heard or I'm not afraid to answer. If I can't find the answer, I will look it up for you. So please reach out. Let's connect.
All right. And where are we at? Lakeila, what about you?
I too want to thank you for having me and sharing the space as well. And nice to meet everyone. You can find me on Instagram at Dream to Color or at the Hamilton Fam. And you can, support me by getting my books at the Lulu bookstore online and Amazon. And there's other retailers out there as well online that you can find the books.
Awesome. Lola, what about you?
Yes, well, thank you so much, you and your partner, for having all of us here today. I'm excited to reconnect with you all because all of you all do some really dope things. But you can find me on Facebook at Agriote's Corner or Lola B. Morgan. I can also be found on Instagram at The Butterfly and the Bully or author_Lola B. Morgan. My books can be found in Barnes and Noble, Amazon, as well as my home website, agriotescorner.com, which we have left in the chat. And then also the best way to really support what I'm doing outside of my books, my community events. Those are super, super important. We bring a lot of things to the forefront in regards to making sure that people have access to mental health services, coaching services. If you need to know how to start a business, knowing how to do that from the ground up. And then we also make sure that we always cater to children in different ways. So making sure that there are different therapeutic exercises and just a really good give back to the community. So if there's any way that you can show up and it's not a financial way, it's always something in person where you can just show up and support and learn how you can be better too.
Awesome. And finally, Miss Harris.
Follow Always Truth Incorporated on Facebook, Instagram. You can always show support by going on our website, www.alwaystruthincorporated.com. And on that website, you will find all of our resources, our poetry CDs, my books, my educational rap CDs, and then it's a direct link to purchase them from my website. And you can even share that with other people, other teachers, other parents. There are great resources on there. Another resource that is on our website is coaching for that will help you publish your book. And so I take you through the steps of how to publish your book, because we know that can be a daunting task, but no worries, I'm here to help. And it's also a steps to publishing your book guide on my website. It's only about $17. And it once again takes you through that process of how to publish your book. You can always also follow us on our YouTube channel at alwaystruthincorporated.com. On that channel, you'll see our poetry, some of our poetry, as well as some of my educational rap CDs. I am an excellent writer. Once again, that's just speaking it and believing it, and students saying that they are an excellent writer. And once you say it so much, you begin to believe it. And then there's also tips for parents on our YouTube channel. And you can also go on Amazon to purchase our books. My books by Tameka Harris. Just type Tameka Harris when you go on Amazon, and all of our resources are there, as well as my.
All right. So the internet was acting up earlier when we were recording that. So you got everything that you need to know. So the last thing I'll say is I'm just very appreciative that you all took the time out of your schedule to be a part of this. You are all amazing. So thank you again for being the guests on Green Book TV, the children's book author edition.